It's time for Let's Get Real with your host from Bob Richards and Associates, Bob Richards.
Well, hello, Mr. Bob Richards.
Michael, good afternoon to you.
How are you doing today?
I'm doing pretty good, thank you.
I'm busy over here dancing to our theme music.
Yeah, it's not too bad.
Hey, I understand that you are looking at some international real estate in the last week or so. Isn't that true?
It is, yes. Been looking a little bit around the globe and seeing where is maybe a good place to park some money.
And play some golf.
And play some golf.
And enjoy the adventures of hurricanes.
That's right. Truth be told, I was in a hurricane just a 3 weeks ago down in Cabo San Lucas. It was not terribly bad. It was amazing to see what Mother Nature does.
Yeah.
That's for sure. But we were okay. The residents were pretty much okay. We didn't have a huge deluge of rain, and so that was good. And anyway, it was quite an experience to see that.
Great. Well, I'm glad you're here.
Me too.
Glad you're safe.
Thank you.
I see you wore your Cabo Ocean Blue shirt today.
I did, yes.
This is very cool. And you know, Bob, I'm in kind of a strange mood. I'm feeling dramatic.
Okay.
I think I want to go back to medieval times and quote a very famous literary giant.
Oh.
Billy somebody.
Billy
Shakespeare. I think is his name.
Yeah.
I think it goes along well with our topic today when he says, to be represented or not to be represented, whether 'tis nobler in the mind's eye to suffer the slings and arrows of outrageous realtors, title companies, and lenders, or should I just do this myself? That Billy, he really had it going on.
Oh my gosh, that is prophetic, prolific, and pretty darn funny too.
So what's going on? You know, I know that there's, we know about like I can FSBO this thing for sale by owner, or I can list with you or an agent. But I understand there's something that we've never talked about before called an unrepresented buyer.
There is.
What is that? I've never heard of that.
No, it's really kind of an interesting concept. It's been around forever, and the thing that people are geared up for in their mind is I can offer X amount less on the purchase price and pocket that money and not use a realtor. And that's kind of basically their idea of being unrepresented saves them money. And we're going to talk a little bit about some falsehoods to that and also some true beliefs that are as part of that particular type of buyer.
Okay, so I'm going to make sure I got this. So it's not the seller that's trying to sell it themselves. It's the buyer that's trying to buy it themselves.
Right.
So they may be working with a FSBO, for sale by owner, or they may be working with a house with a home that's listed, but they're not going to use an agent to help them buy it.
Right.
They'll work with the listing agent, and they're going to represent themselves.
Yes.
And they're going to pocket that 3% themselves.
Yeah, whatever that amount would be. Yeah, and it's a variable now, obviously, with the new brokerage fee commitments and compensation plans of last year.
But I understand there may be some downsides to this.
There can be.
Fill me in.
And oftentimes are. Many people, again, like I say, it's money driven. They don't realize the other things that are coming with that representation from their buyer's agent or to hire a buyer's agent. They should have a agreement that has been signed by buyer and buyer's agent to work together. And the reasons for that is that the agent has the responsibility to protect all the interests of the buyer from start to finish. So from prior to even seeing a house, they have to have that contract in place between the two parties. So one works well with the other and the other one works well with the other. So this has been talked about a lot, and we have seen lately a slew of these kind of transactions come in.
Really?
Surprises. Yeah, I just haven't realized how much of that until we looked in the past couple of months as a team and recognized that, wow, there's a lot of people that are doing this right now or attempting to do this right now. I see some downsides, and so if you don't mind, let me kind of share
Yes,
some
please.
of those downsides with you. One of the things that people think that they can do is that they know the contract. They know the real estate purchase contract. They know all the details, the dates, the requirements, the verbiage, the language, the license numbers, the due diligence items, the finance and appraisal, and they simply don't. All they know is what it looks like. To fill one in, no, they don't do a very good job. In fact, Michael, 2 weeks ago, I listed a home for sale on 2000 North and Lava Flow, just kind of where I live off the west part of St. George.
Yeah.
Okay, this had a perfect location, drive-by traffic, lots of good interest, gorgeous home that you every time you drove by it, you're just like, that is a nice house. Well, I got to list that nice house.
Wow.
And so that was really cool. Okay, so we had people come in, people look at the came through the open house on their own with their agents, and et cetera. Well, this couple that saw the house were just sold on it. They absolutely wanted to move in that night, kind of a thing. If we had the cash, we want to make an offer, and we would close in 24 hours. They had to get a loan. But needless to say is that he and his wife represented themselves. So they send an offer over to me. I present it to the seller. I give no direction to the buyer whatsoever. What to offer, why, good, bad, pluses, negatives with the house. Things that they ought to take into consideration. They're doing their own thing. Well, I send this offer over to the seller, and it has dates out there, Michael, that they would not close until the end of January of 26.
Yeah.
Now, it's middle October right now, and so that's a little ways down the road, and they were only putting down a $2,000 earnest money. So if they didn't close by the week before of last week of January, well, they would get their earnest money back. And the seller would be off market, maybe not to get to $2,000. So I respond back to the buyer after the seller and I have talked. I send them back a total rejection of the offer, no counter offer, no nothing. Part of that reason was they offered $75,000 less than asking price, and we're only talking a home in the 600s.
Yeah.
So it's a pretty steep, drastic cut.
Yeah.
And the seller's like, no way. I mean, tell them to go fish, but our house is not for them. So a couple days later, guess what shows up? Another offer from this same buyer and wife, as again unrepresented. Well, it was a little bit better. Price was still very low, but our dates were typically in 2025 range and closed just right after the first of the year, like first few days of January. Okay, that was a little bit more reasonable, but there was still a number of things that were missing in that contract. In fact, there was 11 things that if they had hired a realtor to be their agent, those 11 items would not have been objected to or rejected. Well, guess what the seller did? Signed a rejection. No counteroffer. Nothing that would say, hey, let's keep talking. Let's work something out. Let's negotiate. Yeah. It was just like, nope, no go. You're not going to be buying this house. In the meantime, Michael, just as you and Linda would go out and see homes, well, other people are looking at this house. And it's not just reserved for this couple waiting for them to get off the pot, if you will. It's a matter of, hey, what are we going to do? How are they going to do it? Can they do it? And what happens if another offer comes in? Well, guess what? It did. I contacted these people again. They said, we'll give you one final offer. We'll make sure that we do this, and we'll do it right, and we'll get it over to you in 24 hours. Well, they did, Michael, but here we go. Purchase price was again low, but better. But in the how they're going to buy it, they represented that they were going to request and require seller financing of $622,500 of $625 price.
Oh my gosh!
Now, is that an error? Yes. Did they intend it to be on that line? Probably not. The new loan section is right above it. They probably typed it, but guess what? That's all I had to work with. I had a $625 owner finance offer in my hand. Well, as a result of that, I didn't have much luck, obviously, with the seller.
Yeah.
And we had to reject the buyer. We did get another offer. It was accepted, And so literally these folks dream home for them. I mean, just absolutely got to have it, got to want it, got to want to move. We want to move into it. They don't get it.
Wow.
They didn't get the house. And if they had hired an agent, the possibility could have been they put this under contract 2 weeks ago rather than a few days ago.
Yeah, they may have saved a few bucks in commission to a real estate agent, but they've lost the house.
Yeah.
It's not worth it. What was that? Maybe 30 grand?
If that. Yeah.
20 something grand.
About 18.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, it's not worth it.
No.
Pay the money.
Right. Right.
Get the house.
And get the house, get the representation you need, get somebody in your corner that's working with you exclusively. Make sure that they're providing you the counsel and advice and professional information, and so that you can make an informed, educated decision. These guys were not informed and educated. They were just kind of going off a whim. A whim.
I can see, and I've learned that lesson the hard way in a few things myself. And I've learned that, if you don't know what you're doing, it's cheaper and you'll save money and time to just pay the professional to do it.
Yeah.
If you don't know what you're doing, just pay somebody to do it, because you're going to screw it up. I no longer fix the sprinklers in my yard because I don't know how to do it. I don't save money.
Yeah.
I don't fix my car. I don't save money. It costs more money.
It does.
Pay the professional and let's get on with our life. It's way more stressful to try and do all this stuff yourself.
It is.
It's like, I bet, I could see how somebody may have the mindset of I can do this myself. Because number one, and Bob, you and I, we've talked about this, that people really aren't sure what realtors do anyway. Why do I need a realtor? All they do is stick a sign in the front yard.
Yep.
We fill out some paperwork. They go to the title company. I'm paying all this money. Bada bing, bada boom. That's it. They don't understand or appreciate what you guys do.
No.
And how much work this really is, and all the little things that are in these agreements. And I could see that. I could just see some guy saying, I'm going to talk like him for a second. You know what, Charlene? I don't need somebody to go to the car dealership with me when I want to buy a new truck. I go down there, I find the truck, I talk to the guy, I tell him how much I'll pay, we dicker a little bit, and then I buy the truck, and I go home. Should be the same with the new house.
Exactly right.
It's the same thing.
Yeah.
But it's not.
No.
No.
Not even close. Not even close.
No.
No. And here's another change from last year's court settlement with how realtors are able to post what they can, or what they're offering to a buyer's agent, and how that's no longer public information or agent information. But understand that the listing agent, the seller's agent, and the seller have, prior to a sign going up, negotiated a contract with a certain fee to the seller's agent and to a buyer's agent. And so that percentage could be 3%, could be 5%, could be 8%, it could be 2%. I had one deal that I glad I didn't put together, that once I found out what the commission rate was, I'm glad it didn't go anywhere. They were offering $2.50, Michael.
What?
$2.50, yeah. And I thought, you know what? Ask the buyer, are you really happy with this house? Is this something that you really want? And I thought, we just kind of have second thoughts. I'm like, oh, good. But yeah, the contract always has a percentage already built in, already talked about, and already negotiated. So the buyer or unrepresented buyer that says, oh, hey, I can save this money. What money? It's already been decided that it's going to be paid by the seller.
That's really good that you brought this up today.
Yeah.
I didn't know there was that much of the unrepresented buyers going around. I've seen, unrepresented sellers, and everybody's trying to do the FSBO thing.
Right.
But that's completely crazy.
Yeah, it is a big difference in our industry, and it happens in all markets. It's not just a Southern Utah thing.
It seems to me also that you, as the realtor, when you're representing the seller, you obviously have no legal fiduciary agreement to the buyer at all.
None.
You have no responsibility to tell them you're getting a good deal, you're getting a bet. Oh, if I were you guys, I would put this thing here on the form.
Right.
So they literally have no legal representation. So if something goes south, which I've heard sometimes do.
Sometimes does.
Does.
Yep.
They're on the hook. They're on themselves. They can't go back to the seller and say, well, you didn't tell me this. It's like, well, the realtor wasn't representing you.
Yeah.
You don't go to court. You may have the defendant and the plaintiff. The defendant doesn't show up without an attorney because the plaintiff already has an. I'm just going to use his attorney.
Yeah.
It's like, no.
I'll represent myself in front
Yeah,
of
I'll
the judge.
represent myself. We all know how good that works.
Yep.
Yeah, don't do your own brain surgery
No.
and don't represent yourself.
No.
Wow.
No, and in fact, if we've got just a quick second, let me kind of read a couple of things here about this unrepresented buyer. It says, buyer acknowledges and agrees that the seller's agent and the company will only represent the seller in this transaction. So it's spelled out there, right? Black and white. The buyer acknowledges and agrees that all actions of the seller's agent and company are intended for the benefit of the seller exclusively.
Oh.
Exclusively.
Yeah.
So again, there's nothing in there about, except for you can help the buyer with this. It's exclusively where that agent is representing the seller. And then this other part of this disclosure, just to kind of wrap up, it says, by signing this unrepresented buyer disclosure, the buyer understands and agrees with the agency relationship confirmed herein. The buyer voluntarily waives any cause of action against the seller's agent and the company that claims that the seller's agent and company are representing the buyer or the buyer's interest excuse me. Furthermore, the buyer holds the seller's agent and company harmless from all liability arising out of any claim or an agency relationship between the buyer and the seller's agent company. So this is something that a buyer signs and says, you know what, I'm going to gamble.
Oh.
I'm gonna risk my buying power, my money, my hundreds of thousands of dollars of money to save a few dollars. And so, like you say, Your Honor, I'm here representing myself. And that the other party is going to be like, oh, this is going to be a great day. We're just absolutely going to make hay over this guy because he has know what he's doing.
So, if I understood what you're reading the contract correctly, so your agreement is exclusively with the seller.
Mm-hmm.
You can't have anything to do with the buyer. So let's say that this thing is hanging by a thread, and you're thinking to myself, I want to close this deal. So I'm going to give this one little suggestion to the buyer to get this thing to close. Well, if you were to do that and the seller found out, you could be held in breach of contract because now you've breached your fiduciary agreement with the seller. Now you're on the hook.
Yeah.
Now nobody gets the house except the seller can
Right.
stay there. And now you've got a legal action potentially against you.
Yes.
And it would be a disaster.
It would.
Legally, you can't help them at all.
No, and you're absolutely right, Michael. If you sneezed something even close to a buyer benefit, you're in big doo doo and just hot water and all the other stuff that people say.
What was that last thing you read? The second.
Yeah. So it says by signing this unrepresented buyer disclosure, the buyer understands and agrees with the agency relationships confirmed herein. The buyer voluntarily waives any cause of action against the seller's agent and the company that claims that the seller's agent and company are representing the buyer or the buyer's interests.
Wow.
Yeah. Black and
So
white.
basically, the buyer, I'm going to put this in Utah terms,
Mm-hmm. Good.
which is kind of like Utah profanity, which
There you
isn't
go.
real profanity. So basically, the buyer would be hosed.
That's the word.
That's
yes,
the
the
word.
word of the day is hosed.
Yeah, the buyer's going to get hosed on this deal.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So that was just in the last couple of weeks. I mean, I could go on with other stories and other things that are happening either in our office or other agents that have commented about experiences that they've had. And again, it just wipes people out. I had to tell these people, you know what, you didn't get the house. And then I inserted and said, you know what, you should have used a buyer's agent. You would have had this house 2 weeks ago if you had done that and not found that you were miswriting the contract and misrepresenting this or not writing in that. I just said, you know what, I think you could have done better with having a buyer's agent.
Yeah. Don't worry. about the money. Money is like Doritos. You can always make more.
You can always make more. You're
It's
right.
not that big of a deal.
You're right.
Hey,
Well
Mr.
said.
Bob, I understand you've got this cool listing out
Yeah.
in Bloomfield. You want to tell us about?
Bloomington is where
Bloomington.
it be. Yeah, so Bloomington is
Oh,
out
there it is.
in the Sun River area, actually. So this is a 55 and older huge community. Everybody that lives out there, one of them has to be at least 55 years of age or older. And there are just top-notch amenities out that way. But let me kind of share the details with you on this home. It's about 1,550 square feet. We have, go ahead and go to the next slide here. We have a large great room open to the kitchen, dining area. All of that flooring is brand new. There hasn't hardly been anybody step on it except for our buyer's agents and buyers that have looked at it. And so that's top quality stuff. And opens up to the kitchen and dining area, so that's why we call it the great room floor plan. And then we'll go on to the kitchen area. It has a nice bar there for either buffet type of seating, or put the bar stools there for other people to sit on, and have 3, 4, 5 bar stool seats there if you would like to. Solid surface kitchen counter, stainless appliances, corner pantry, and a lot of great storage in this. Obviously a nice dining area. We'll go to the next one there. And it just feels very open and very easily to get around, rather than feeling that you're bumping into people as you're cooking or preparing a meal. The dining area is also really quite nice. We got another photo of that one. And it's just nice and spacious, a lot of good windows there, has an easy access to the back door where you may be doing some barbecuing out that way. And then we go from here over to the master bedroom. We don't set up beds when we stage a home. We just kind of get some pop and sizzle in there, but at least gives a little bit of attraction for people as they go in. And the master is really quite large. It's a good-sized bedroom. So the 2 bedrooms, one of the master, the other is more of a guest room, and then it also has an office den. And this is where the office den is. So what we added is that as you walk in the front door, this used to be a living room on the left-hand side. We converted it into an office because living rooms aren't used too often anymore. It's got a barn door to close to close that area off and make it very private. And so again, new lighting, new flooring, new paint, new everything that you can think of, where somebody can, what we call move-in ready on this particular home. It's priced right now at, oh, good golly.
Is that $696?
Oh, no. It's
Is that?
we just dropped it from $696.
Oh.
No, I'm just kidding. We're at $498,950.
Oh, that's
so
the one
just
house.
under $500,000. Yeah.
How much again?
$498.
$498.
Yeah.
Down from where?
No, I'm just kidding. We listed it at that, but since we had the wrong home, it's
Oh, yes.
mixed it up. So
$498.
We're all good. $498. And can move in anytime. We'll get the furniture out, our staging furniture. What we'd like to do is in our staging furniture is we just present some pop and sizzle, Michael. We don't, like I said, set up the beds, but we want to get all the cellar stuff out so that people aren't walking through the home and saying, oh, this is a nice house for the seller, but it doesn't work for us because we can't see it as a buyer.
Yeah.
We're seeing what the seller has.
Is that the backyard?
Yeah, backyard there that the homeowner maintains. The front yard is maintained by the HOA. So if you do a gravel kind of a thing, and this is a second home, you come and go, and the backyard's going to look the same. I mean, you might have a couple of weeds to pull when you get back, but certainly not significant, or a waterfall to take care of, or grass to mow, or anything that you can do whatever you want to, basically in the backyard with some permission from the HOA.
So how come you didn't stage it with a pool and a waterfall?
You know what? I was missing that. Darn it! It fell out of the back of my truck.
Next one.
So anyway, certainly encourage people to look into Sun River and look into this home. It's very close to the amenities. The amenities are phenomenal. They've got indoor-outdoor pools. They've got pickleball courts, tennis courts, weightlifting, fitness center, computer room, billiard room, study room. It just goes on and on. So I tell people, if you live in Sun River and you're bored, it's your own fault.
Wow. That's amazing.
Yeah.
So, hey, I like that house.
Yeah.
Could I save some money if I represent myself?
Oh, he didn't learn anything from today's podcast.
Let's play that podcast,
Yes,
Roger. I
yes.
need to re-listen to that part.
Probably the best thing to do, Michael, is have people call me. Call or text 435-703-UTAH, and that is 435-703-8824. BuyUtah.com is my website. I'm over at Berkshire Hathaway Real Estate, which is just in Ancestor Square on the corner of Main Street and St. George Boulevard.
And I understand you probably have an email. I'll bet. Don't tell me. Is it Bob at buyutah.com?
Well, it was AOL, but no, I'm just kidding. We never did that, folks. Bob at buyutah.com. Yes, sir.
And we want to thank everybody for watching Bob's podcast today. And remind you guys that you can watch all of Bob's podcasts, Let's Get Real. They're all available on YouTube. And if you like to listen to podcasts when you're driving, they're available on all the major podcast channels like Spotify and Amazon, stuff like that.
Yeah.
We're going to see you guys again next time. Bob, thanks a lot. You've been a
Michael.
great guest today.
Thanks.
See you again soon.
Okay.
This has been Let's Get Real with Bob Richards from Bob Richards and Associates. For more information, buyutah.com. We invite you to return again for another edition of Let's Get Real with Bob Richards from Bob Richards and Associates.